Why are Everton in this situation, Duncan? What do you think has gone wrong this season?
Well, they've not been good enough, have they? That's the end of it. At the end of the day, they've not been good enough. The players have not performed. They've not got the points on the board, and they've struggled. So really, at the end of the day, it really boils down to the players. Lack of performance on the pitch. Really, that's why Everton in the position they're in, and maybe a wee bit of poor recruitment along the way.
Duncan, I've got to ask you about the crowd. They're going to play their part at the weekend, aren't they? I mean, Goodison, I've played there many a times, and it's a tough place to play, especially when the crowd get right behind the team. And it's a good position to be in, really, because you're at home, and if you win that game of football, you're going to be in the Premier League next season, where Leeds or Leicester will be relying on you guys to drop points, and maybe they can take advantage of that. But to be in front of that Goodison crowd, and I'm sure they will be getting right behind the team, you'd rather be in that situation, and I think the crowd could play the big part in this.
Well, the crowd will play a massive part in it, won't they? They'll get behind the team, as they always do. I mean, Everton have been in this position before. They were in it last year, weren't they? And they managed to get out it, and the fans made a massive impact on that. And they'll do the same on Sunday. They're a massive part of the club, as you know, and I'm sure in the end they'll push the team over the line. It's going to be a massive day, but you're right. Everton are in the strongest position, and I fully expect them to get over the line on Sunday.
Well, as we were saying, they hold all the cards coming into this final round of fixtures. Injuries have played a little bit of a part this season for them, and coming into this final game then against Bournemouth, there are some doubts defensively. I know that Michael Keane, I think, played right back recently, as did Dwight McNeil at left back, and then there's Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who has just been injury plagued, hasn't he, for much of his latter career with Everton. A player, though, you would know particularly well, and when he has returned this season, we've seen that the flashes of the Dominic Calvert-Lewin that was so prolific a few seasons ago. Do you still have a close relationship with him? Because I know he's opened up about having that sort of togetherness, that relationship when you were at Everton. Do you still speak to him?
Yes, I still speak to him. I still see him. Not as often as I did, obviously.
Of course.
I was with him about 4 weeks ago down in London. So, yeah, I still keep in touch with him. He's a top player. Look, at the end of the day, when the kid's been fit, he's delivered.
Yeah.
And that's it. Now, obviously, he's trying his very, very best to get himself healthy and fit. And I'm sure the club are trying their best as well. And it's just one of the unfortunate things. But Dominic is a top player. There's no question about it. When he's fit and healthy, he delivers. And he's been a massive miss to Everton this season, as you know. His injury record has not been great over the last 12 months. But, I know for a fact he's trying everything he possibly can to get himself fit. He's a clean living lad. And as I said, he's a top player. And I have got a good relationship with Dominic, of course. We go way back when he was a young pup. And, I was even a young pup back then. And so, he's a top player. And it's a big mistake for Everton.
Duncan, you can see your passion when you was there, and you loved Everton, and you've done everything for the club. Was it really hard to leave? Because, a lot of the fans were going, "Oh, Duncan, give him the job. He should be taking us forward." But in the end, you said, "No, I'm going to go my own way," and you left the club. But it must have been a hard decision.
It was a massive decision for me. Hard, not so much so, because at the end of the day, they never gave me the job.
Yeah.
And, I went for an interview for the job, Ray. And once that happens and they don't give you, you've got to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I interviewed for the same time when Frank interviewed. They went with Frank, fair enough. I never got that chance, so I felt, well, I've got to do the honourable thing now. So at the end of the day, I had to leave the club. And that's what I did. So it wasn't that hard a decision. Of course, I love the club. I've been long associated with the club. I miss them. They're a great club. But for my own career, at the end of the day, they weren't going to give me the job. They made that clear with the interview. So I did the honourable thing and stepped aside.
Of course, you are now management of Forest Greens. Just quickly to touch on them, because you've got a first full summer now to prepare for next season. What are your plans? Are you able to bring in new players? Are you able to put your now stamp on that team?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, obviously, I've got a good owner, great fella, and that's the reason why I went to Forest Green, because of the owner. We knew we were in a difficult position when I went into the club, and he's going to give me time. So there is a good chance we can rebuild the club, and of course I'm going to have a busy summer. I'm trying to get myself out to games this week. I've been out to games and trying to go up to Scotland to get some games in. So we're always scouting. we're looking to improve the squad, and that's what we'll try and do over the summer. It's not going to be easy. There's we're Forest Green at the end of the day, and there's a lot of big clubs in the division who's got bigger budgets, but we'll be competitive. We have got a good budget for the upcoming season, so we're looking to be competitive, and I'm looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Well, we wish you the best of luck, of course, for next season. Just lastly, though, on Everton, as we've already mentioned, they hold all the cards. The fate really is in their own hands. You think they'll get the job done and they'll be in the Premier League next season?
I do, 100%. I mean, I cannot see Bournemouth going to Goodison and winning. I can't see it happening. Everton will be too much for them. The fans will be too much for Bournemouth to handle. And I think Everton will win the match, and I think they'll stay up.
And Duncan,
it'll be tense, but I think they've got too much in the locker.
Yeah, definitely. Duncan, I've got to ask you as well. What was that vegan burger like? Was it any good?
I tell you what, Ray, it took me a while to eat it. I went and said I'll have the vegan burger once we get a win. It took me about 4 weeks to get the win.